Hey everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar. We got a really special guest today with Olli Soikkeli. He's from Finland. He's an incredible gypsy jazz player, and we'll get into his background in a second. A couple of quick announcements. I want to thank our mutual friend Jim Chemo West for connecting us. Thanks, Chemo. You're the best. And also make sure, and Olli toured with Jim. We'll talk about that as well. Make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com/subscribe to subscribe to the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the little icon that looks like a bell. That helps us out, and YouTube recommends us more if you do that. So thank you. All righty. Olli Soikkeli and his last name is spelled Soikkeli. He's from, Olli, I hope I don't mess this up, Nurmes, Finland. He's a gypsy jazz guitarist. He played in jazz clubs and festivals all throughout Finland and Europe. He's played with artists such as Bucky Pizzarelli, Stochelo Rosenberg, Tommy Emmanuel, Andreas Öberg, Cyrille, I'm going to mess these up, Cyrille Aimee. Is that Amy? I'm sorry. This is butchering these poor people's name. Antti, Sarpila, and Marian, Petrescu. He was recently living in New York City, and while there, he played legendary venues such as Town Hall, Herbst Theatre, Birdland Jazz Club, the Blue Note, the Iridium, and Lincoln Center. Those are all really famous places to play jazz in New York. He's already released 9 albums, including solo works, trio, and a variety of other projects. His 2016 album called Travels was included on the All About Jazz magazine and the Huffington Post Best Albums of the Year list. He's also done a duo with virtuoso accordionist Julian Labro, and he has a duo project with New York-based Brazilian 7-string guitarist Cesar Garabini, playing mostly Brazilian choro music. In 2019, Olli recorded with Grammy Award-winning pianist Marian Petrescu as part of his trio record. I've said Marian's name like 3 different times the wrong way. All 3, I'm sure. Marian, if you're listening to this, I'm really sorry. And the record is very well done. 11 covers of primarily jazz standards, and there's great playing on there. One thing, it was great. I know you guys are like, that was your first record together. You were so tight, man. It sounded like, you know, you've been playing together for years. What was it? Just an unusual chemistry, or?
Well, I mean, I'm very honored and lucky that I was able to get Marian on that record. You know, he actually he's a Romanian-born piano player, but like maybe 25 years ago or something, he moved to Finland with his family. And,
wow!
So he's been living here. But you know, he lived for a little bit in the States, and he made a Grammy record there, and you know, was playing all the you know, the best things out there. But like, but then you know, he got tired of it, and he just wanted to come back to Finland. And he doesn't even live in Helsinki. He lives like this kind of small town in the mid part of Finland.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know, we were very lucky to have him here. And so it was like a obvious choice for me when I wanted to do that project, like with the guitar, piano, and bass, to have Marian on it. So
have you played with him before that then?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I met him years ago in Pori Jazz Festival in Finland, but we just played in a jam session. So so then, you know, when I kind of wanted to start with this project with this instrumentation. Like I have a pretty good circuit of concerts and gigs I do every year in Finland. So and like the last, let's see, like maybe 4 years, I've been kind of every time come with a kind of different guest or a different project. So,
oh, that's cool.
You know, Finland is a small enough country. You know, there's only 5 million of us. So
wow.
Like like the audience isn't that. There's not so much going on as like if you compare it to the States.
Sure.
So the last 3 years we've been playing together with Marian.
Oh, okay.
And last year ago, 2019 in winter, we recorded that record. So we did a few tours together before we recorded. But you know, I was still living in the U.S., so I only came to Finland a couple times a year. So it wasn't like a ton of gigs like you tour in the U.S. You play 100 gigs with the same band. but still, but like having that caliber of a musician, I knew it's gonna turn out great. So
yeah, man, you guys sounded really tight there. It was a really cool record to listen to, man. Thank you for putting that out.
Thank you.
Hey, so tell me about Nurmes, Finland, where you were born.
Well, Nurmes is it's a very remote and very small town in the eastern part of Finland, and I think the population now it's like under 8,000 people.
Oh my God!
So
Holy.
it's a small town, but it's a beautiful place. It's like where my parents still live. We have like this old wooden house, big houses, back from the early 1900s. And it's right in between two lakes, so there's tons of nature around, and a lot of if you look up Google Finland, the only thing you're gonna see is just lakes and forests. So that's pretty much enormous.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, but it was a nice place to grow up. Like a lot of space and a very, very calm, very safe. I think like even right now, Nurmes doesn't have one COVID case, so that tells something.
Wow, because the population density is so low, I would imagine.
Yeah, and the people, kind of they don't travel that much, and I mean, there's like not really a lot of tourists coming from, so
to Nurmes, yeah.
Right. And then, of course, in the spring, since the spring, people being very cautious there, even there. So,
What, silly question, but I got to ask it. How do you keep, Finland's cold, man. It's a cold climate. And you got a wood house. Like, how do you keep that heated? I know that's probably a ridiculous question, but I just curious. How does that happen? You just use a fireplace, or what do you?
Yeah. Like majority, it's been heated with fire. But now, my parents. So there's three brothers. So, but now, I'm the youngest, and everybody moved out, and my parents, they have my brothers have family and all that. So now it's just the two of them living in this, huge house there, and it's it's been like combination, like majority of the like heating, it's been firewood, but then the cold months they use electricity. But now they have the thermal heating kind of thing going.
Okay.
So it's not going to be so much heating. The ovens this year.
Oh, okay. Because
fireplaces.
It's brutally cold there, isn't it, in the winter?
Yeah, it can get cold. Yeah, really cold. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does you started? I want to ask you another question about Finland. How does Finland differ from the States? Because you've lived here as well for quite some time, and back and forth. As far as like maybe how people interact, or music, or food, or anything else that you find interesting in your own observation.
Well, I mean, we're kind of remote, even from like European perspective. We're like all the way up north, so kind of far from all the kind of craziness what's going on right now, for instance. But still, we're like international. I mean, Helsinki. I live in Helsinki now, so Helsinki is definitely like a international city. But I mean, Finland is like very, very clean, and definitely a lot of nature. Like even in Helsinki, it's I mean, after living in New York, Helsinki definitely feels like a small town. Yeah. But it's pretty amazing the amount of nature it's here, and everything is very clean. The water is very clean, and we have the best tap water in the world, or something like that. Yeah. And the people are more reserved here, and like very, very honest. Like if you leave your wallet in the bus or something, it's probably going to be there, and stuff like that. So it's
wow.
And people are very punctual. Like usually you have a meeting, people show up like 10 minutes before, and that kind of stuff. that kind of thing. So everything like works, you know, like the public transportation is on time and
That's amazing, man.
stuff like that. So, but it's, you know, that the small population, it's like,
Yeah, that allows that to happen. So what was the culture shock? Like, first of all, what made you move to New York, and what was the culture shock that you had to deal with there?
Well, you know, like, like I grew up in small town. I mean, this is gonna be like a long story. How did I like end up in New York? But like, you know, once I got to play the kind of the bigger festivals and tour a little bit in Europe. So the biggest jazz festival in Finland is this festival called Pori Jazz. So once I started to play there, I met a lot of you know, musicians from New York, and they encouraged me to you know, come check it out. You know, for gypsy jazz, New York isn't really the place. It's probably Paris that the best level for that music.
Right.
But then, you know, I just came to check out New York. I came, you know, took a little vacation I came there for 2 weeks just as a tourist, and you know, I kind of, you know, I fell in love with the energy and already, you know, I've the gypsy jazz world and the scene, it's like a small community, you know, and so everybody, you know, pretty much in that scene, everybody knows everybody kind of around the world. And you know, I was visiting this festival for this music in France, which is like people from all over the world come there every summer. So I made a lot of connections in like US people playing this music. So then I kind of, the word got around that I'm coming to New York, and I start to visit New York like a couple times a year. So then all these people in this community, they started calling me for gigs, and so then it just and New York, I mean, there's so much happening, there's so many little gigs and stuff. So I was just happy to, you know, come here, and like, you know, I would come for a month and play like 25 gigs. So
Holy crap, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I was like just like 20 years old, and just happy to play. I mean, you know, the New York gigs, they don't really when you play in a restaurant or a cafe or something, they don't really pay that much, but it's, you know, it was just fantastic opportunity just to get play and, you know, play this Django's music, gypsy jazz.
Yeah.
So so then I did that for a while, and then you know, people like there's some gypsy jazz festivals in the US, like there's a big one in Massachusetts, and then there's a couple on the West Coast, and a few others. So anyway, so then I got invited to do those, and then it's, you know, when it gets to a festival level, then you kind of you do like a official, you know, they want like all the like the artist visas and everything like that. So then you know, for musicians coming from Europe or elsewhere in the world, it's kind of, it's quite a hassle to
it's expensive as hell. It's expensive as hell. Yeah, I know that, man.
So I did a few of those, but then it's such a process. So I was like, I decided that I'm gonna apply for, you know, the maximum amount of time you can apply for. It's 3 years. So I just wanted to, you know, get it done, and then, you know, I was starting to get all this work in the US. So I just wanted to, like, not every time I come there, I need to do this, you know, this visa, which is pretty much the same process every time. So then 2014, I got visa for 3 years, and then majority of my gigs were in the States, so it just made sense to move there and not fly back and forth.
That's really cool.
So it just kind of happened, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the work was there, so
that's great.
Yeah. And you know, I love New York City from the very beginning. So
biggest was there any culture shock that you had to like get over?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was, you know, like at first, was, you know, like how much you guys talk and stuff for a Finnish person, and especially from my part of Finland, it was our first, like, you know, 2 months sometimes, and especially when we went to the West Coast for that, you know, that's even you know, New Yorkers are kind of like Finnish. I feel like if you are Finn, I think New York is the only place to live for you. Like, I mean, if you want the same kind of attitude from people who are kind of like more, you know, straight on point.
Yeah. They don't mince words. Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. So how much do we talk? That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, but I mean, like in Finland, I mean, we've watched the American movies and TV shows from, you know, and you know, like we have like in Finland, we don't. We have subtitles so you hear the, you know, the accent from the movies, and then, you know, like I'm like, I love all those, you know, old New York movies, like A Taxi Driver and like you know, anyway, all these movies. So it was just like such a thing to you know, come there, and then you feel like you're like in a movie. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. What area of the city did you like the most? Did you find yourself like on your time off going there maybe?
Well, I mean, since, you know, I'm a jazz musician, so I love to go see some live music, and, you know, that's definitely the, you know, the Village.
Yeah.
And
right.
Manhattan is where it's at. I mean, there's so much happening in Brooklyn now, but you have to like know a little bit, and, you know, but, you know, like Village Vanguard, that's my favorite jazz club in the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, I miss that place.
Yeah.
But then, you know, the last 2 years I lived in Astoria, Queens. So,
oh, okay.
So, you know, Astoria, you can't
that's
beat the food,
10-minute
food over. Yeah.
That's a 10-minute. Oh, that's a very short over the bridge. Even with the trains, just to get into the city, it's really quick, isn't it?
Well, I was like all the way, the very last stop of the Astoria. Okay. So it was like, you know, 20, 25 minutes, but,
okay.
But still, you know, it's definitely a lot more accessible from Queens to go to Manhattan than from Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so,
that's cool. One more New York question. What was your favorite New York City food?
Well, it has to be the slice, I think.
Yeah, man. Right on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's everybody's answer.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the pizza there, man. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. That was cool, man. How'd you first get started in the music business, and like, what was your first break where you got discovered or an opportunity that got created?
Well, music business. Well, I started playing gigs from very early on. I was, you know, I started to play guitar. I was like a heavy metal fan, Shredder fan. You know, so
that's interesting.
So I did that for, you know, a couple of years. Tried to learn some Metallica tunes and stuff like that. But then, you know, my mom got me a teacher in Nurmes, and I was, you know, very lucky to have you know, my second teacher, actually, his name is Kari Back. And so anyway, so he was kind of self-taught guitarist, but he was at the time, and still is, you know, really into gypsy jazz and Django Reinhardt. So he gave me records from, you know, all different legendary guitarists, you know, from Santana to Clapton to Hendrix, but then he gave me a couple CDs of Django and the Rosenberg Trio from the Netherlands, and that's how I fell in love with the music. And then, you know, Kari was into he wanted to play this music. He just ordered, when I started to take lessons from him, he just ordered this like really beautiful handmade gypsy guitar from the Netherlands, and then. So I guess, and, you know, as you can guess, like Nurmes isn't really the hotbed of gypsy jazz. So you know, so he didn't have anyone to play with. So he started to teach me how to play the rhythm guitar, and so pretty much then, like a few months later, we were playing these little gigs all around that part of Finland, and then you know, we did that for a couple of years, and then the word got around, and and then I got to play. I guess the first break would be when I got to play with this kind of famous violinist, Finnish violinist, and so he took me to the Helsinki jazz scene, and the jazz festivals around Finland. So I was maybe 17, 18 at that time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A couple of questions. How did you go from, like, I would think most people that are into metal are not going to be into gypsy jazz. That's really unusual.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it has like, a lot of energy, especially all these high tempo songs, and it's like all about the technique and the fast playing, and this high energy. So that was when I heard the Rosenberg trio. If you haven't checked those guys out,
I will though.
Yeah. So it was like I got my teacher gave me this live recording, live at the North Sea Jazz Festival, and the second track is they played Django Reinhardt's Minor Swing, which is probably the most famous gypsy jazz song. So when I heard that, I was like, wow, it's like incredible. It's like, and this guy Stochelo Rosenberg, he's probably the cleanest and the best tone in this style of music.
That's right. So it's interesting that, like, everything that you've kind of done, you said the words before, I fell into it. It's like almost things opened up and kind of invited you. You got this teacher, he invited you into this new world of gypsy jazz. Then he took you out to gigs. And then this guy, the violin player, saw you. He invited you to, it's really cool.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I haven't thought about those, the very kind of beginning, but, I've been watching these old interviews of jazz musicians on YouTube, and it always seemed to be that kind of, everybody did that kind of sideman thing, or, they played in the, back in the day, they played in the big bands and stuff, so nowadays it's a little different, but now thinking about it, I did that too. I had that period when I was kind of, just like first being the rhythm guitarist, and then being a sideman, with the violinist. But then, Finland, it's such a small country, and when I was starting off, I mean, there were some people, like, maybe in the early 90s that they played this stuff, and so there, very few people knew about this, Django's music. So it was all, there was not a lot of people to play with, first of all. So but like, I had this kind of this fire. I just wanted to play and get it, and like when I started to play gigs when I was 14. So I kind of, when you start performing, it's that's like another level, and you get this you get kind of this high from playing in front of the audience, and
Sure.
So I just wanted to do it more and more. So then I met some people, like the guy who actually built my guitars, AJL Guitars. He's from Finland, and he builds like the best gypsy jazz guitars in the world, and he makes also like really beautiful Archstrap guitars. So anyway, I met him from very early on, because he was kind of the guy in Finland who would sell like the gypsy jazz strings and picks. So it was like everybody who played this stuff, they knew him, and so you would get the so with him, I started to go to this festival in France, and so he's very well connected in this world and this community of gypsy jazz, and he started from scratch to kind of like building his name in this in this gypsy jazz world, and so he he kind of gave me tips and stuff, like how to, you know, get about, you know, maybe like booking your own gigs, or, you know, putting your own band together, and you know, how kind of like how to get your name out there and how to market yourself. So he was he's been like a huge help in my career too, you know. And he also plays like really good rhythm guitar. So also you know, we played some gigs together early on. But you know, he definitely introduced me to a lot of the players and the people in this scene.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool how everything sort of opened up for you, and you just decided to take advantage of the, you know, you embrace the opportunities given to you, you know.
Right, right.
I want to actually, you got a pat on your back and congratulations. You're 29, and you've got a catalog of music that's larger than what most artists might release over 29 years, you know. So really, there's a, you know, big pat on the back to you. So a couple of questions there. You, at an early age, made that decision that you just talked about, that you wanted to not be a sideman. You wanted to run your own band. You wanted to, and also, so not only is that independence, you know, very admirable, but you're super driven and motivated. To put out 9 records in this period of time is a lot, man, as you know. So I was curious, where does that motivation come from? And what was the, it sounds like you never even thought about being and doing anything else, but, you know, Olli Soikkeli, your band, you know, your band, your trio, your projects, not from an ego, but just because that's what you wanted to do. So tell me about, like, how did all that come about? You know, what's the driving force behind that for you?
Well, again, you know, this guitar builder, AJL, you know, he kind of, you know, he told me like that, like, you know, you need to have a record, you need to have a website and all that. So how to kind of get about, you know, that you know, when you are doing a festival gig somewhere, so you have kind of like the ready package.
Yeah. Something to sell, merch.
Right.
Yeah.
And but all this stuff that, like, these days you need to have, like, people to discover you. So like, you like all the YouTube video and like the website and the record and stuff. So that's kind of the reason, you know. So we made my first record. It was like this his name, the guitar builder's name is Arjukka Luomaranta. So anyway, so so we made he has a band called Hot Club of Finland, and so my first record was you know, that band featuring, you know, me and a violinist, Vitali Meri.
Oh, okay.
So that was my
so your teacher was your backing band.
Oh no! Well, this wasn't my teacher. This was the guitar builder.
I'm sorry, the luthier. Yeah, your luthier was your backing band. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But then again, you know, like then, you know, the opportunities I was getting in Finland, you know, it wasn't that much. So but then I was little by little starting to get some gigs in you know, Sweden and like Norway, our neighboring countries, and then a little bit in Europe. So I was then I was just kind of doing what the luthier told me to, like, you know. So I was kind of just reaching out to these places, like all over, and you know, like, I have my videos and my website, and so I would like send them the, you know, the stuff, and then so I got, you know, just by hustling myself, you know, I just started to get some work in you know, outside of Finland, and at the time, you know, I was I mean, I didn't really have I wasn't really traveling in my own group, so I was kind of doing that, just like traveling by myself and then playing with the local pickup band.
Sure.
And so I did that, that for a while, like I have my group in Finland, but then always, all the stuff at the time I was doing, I was just, playing with the local rhythm section or something. And that's what I did in New York too, at first. And then later on I met Jason Anik, the violinist in the Rhythm Future Quartet. So that's the project me and Jason we started, and
Right.
And that turned into a very very will be fruitful thing in the U.S. and we've worked a lot, played a lot together, and made up let's see, 3 or 4 albums together now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's amazing. So the answer to my question of how did you do that, even that you sort of fell into. Your luthier said, hey, do this, and you did it, and it worked. It's just, it's the more I interview people, it's almost like when, and I don't think this is unique to music, but because people are people, but I think it's almost like when you're supposed to do something, and when I say supposed to, when the universe, whatever that means for whoever is, is like supporting you, and you just follow like these little clues or little openings, everything works. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing.
Yeah. But I think it was really just, I wasn't really like, I was like, from a small town in the Finland, and to go to New York, I was intimidated to go to Helsinki,
I'm sure. Yeah.
And then go to, so but the I guess just the passion for the music, and just the like I have this this kind of compulsion or whatever, like I just need to play. That what makes me happy, to play with other people, and this music I love. So it was just that was that like with that, like kind of overcame all this.
Oh yeah, the short-term fear was overcome by the intense passion you had for what you were doing.
Right.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yes.
What kind of work did your parents do? Were they in music at all, or?
No, there's no history of musicians or artists in the family. My both parents are retired now, but like my mom worked in a nursing home, and then my dad in Finland, the forest and the kind of the forest business. We sell the lumber to the paper factory and that.
Okay.
So it's like a government-owned forest business kind of thing. So that's what my dad did.
Were they supportive of you at such a young age to go out, and conquer the world on your own, pretty much?
Well, they were, very supportive of me picking up an instrument, and they got me a teacher right away. But then, of course, like they didn't like. I don't think they still kind of. I mean, they don't have any clue how the music business works or the music world works, and I guess it's been a good thing, because they definitely, especially my mom, she's like she just worries about everything. So I think it's better that she doesn't really know the business, because that would be just like a lot more to worry about. Yeah, but of course now, like when they see see me that I'm playing all around and playing with all these people who are like in the top Finnish musicians right now. Like I'm in Finland now, so so they of course they are like very supportive now, and they accept what I'm doing. But at first they were like, don't you want to be a dentist, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's normal. That's cool, man. That's well, hey man, you've made 9 records again. Massive congratulations. That is very unusual for a guy that's your age, man. It's unheard of. I've had like close to 800 people on this show. That's unheard of. Yeah.
Right. Well, like we live in the era that everybody puts their records out by on their own. So that's what I've done. I've never been on a label,
Right.
and I think now it's there's these labels that there's not a lot of they can do for you unless it's like the very very top the top jazz label or something.
Sure.
So there's some benefit, but I think it's worked for me to put out my own records and like have the merch when you tour and stuff. So you actually you make some extra cash.
Are the rules, like I had a very long conversation with Mike Dawes about how complicated the taxation is for guys like you that are out of the country coming in here to play. Is it the same? Do you have to deal with the same as much, rules and regulations as Mike does, or is it a little easier coming from Finland as opposed to England?
Oh, I mean, it's easier for me because I lived in New York.
Yes.
So I had like a social security number, and so I was paying taxes in the U.S. And,
so you had a domicile here, right? Okay.
Right. So, but yeah, it's a nightmare if you like. I mean, Mike definitely tours a lot in the U.S. and but he's not a resident. Or like so for him, I'm sure I don't even want to think about it.
Dude, he's like a tax accountant. I couldn't believe like how in depth, like how many rules, and well, there's an exception, but if you do this, and then he's smart enough to. So I subcontracted it out to this so we can make more money. And I was like,
yeah. Mike knows all that. I definitely with that international guitar night tour, and we during those 2 months, I definitely noticed that Mike has his shit together, so to speak.
Oh, he has to, because it's like every step of the way is set up to have you make as little money as possible. So like, but he is really got it under control. And I was saying, Mike, man, you should like be a consultant on this stuff, man. He really has it down. It was phenomenal. Whoa.
Yeah.
So once this opens back up, can you come back to the States and get a residency again anytime you want, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, I was on my second visa now, and it actually expired this summer. So and now there's been the the visa ban and everything. So I haven't like I don't know when they're gonna. I guess you can already apply for a work visa, but So, but I guess my plan is to be in Finland where the virus situation is a lot more under control, and then but I definitely want to come back to the States and New York and continue my career over there.
That's awesome, dude. I would love to see you play if I'm in the city. That would be so cool to come watch you play. Yeah. That would be awesome. Yeah.
It's nothing like New York gigs.
Oh, I know, man. It's just I had Ron Carter on the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That's what I couldn't believe it myself. I was like, holy shit. That was the only interview. I was actually nervous about that because it was Ron Carter. I was like, oh, yeah. And he was lovely and sweet and just couldn't make me feel any better. But, he was playing, or they did a stream of the Vanguard that for him his trio played there and it was streaming. And I said, how was it? He goes, man, it was so good. Just to get back and play, even though there wasn't anybody in the audience, it was just like,
yeah.
He was so, like what you said, I think I wrote it down. I just need to play. I mean, every musician feels like that.
Yeah, this spring was definitely tough times, not to be. I'm used to playing 250 gigs a year, and not be able to, that's what we do. So not be able to do that for like 3 months. I mean, I'm very lucky to I came back to Finland and in June, and so since then I've been just like first like getting together just with anybody to like jam and then just to get back to playing, and then but now it's like the August and September. Actually, I was kind of busy, or
Good.
playing some real gigs with the trio. So that feels so good to play again with Marian.
Good. I'm happy for you, man.
Yeah.
Is that International Guitar Night? I want to tell people about that. Is that going to happen again? Are you guys? Was there more shows scheduled or more events scheduled to that?
Well, the thing, they've been doing International Guitar Night, I think 25 years now. So it's this guitarist in California, Brian Gore. He started off, and the whole point of the tour is that every year is different, 4 different guitarists.
Oh, okay.
So next year, or if they're gonna do it next year, it's gonna be somebody else. So this year it was me and Mike Dawes and Jim Kimo West and a fantastic Turkish guitarist, Cenk Erdogan.
Yeah, he's gonna come on. He's coming on the show soon.
Oh, nice. Yeah. You'll love Cenk. Yeah, he's my man.
You guys are so, but like all 4 of you guys are so off the charts talented, man, and so unique, and in your individual niche is really amazing.
Right. I think this year was really exciting for. This was my first time doing it, and first time for Kimo too. But Mike and Cenk, they've done it before.
They have. So maybe you'd be coming back.
Yeah. No, I think usually they get people to do it again.
Good.
So, but it was a very interesting mix of styles, and so so the show is like the first half everybody kind of plays solo, the little solo set, and then the second half we start to play together, and we try to figure out something to play together. So, but it was so much fun, to play with these guys from totally different backgrounds.
Right.
And stuff.
That's what's cool.
But but I mean, everybody is in the level what they do is so I knew that it's gonna work out and it's gonna be interesting. So,
how much of that was improvised? As far as like the second half, how much of that was like on the fly, or was that all pretty much like, did you work on during the day? Hey, when I play with Kimo, we'll do this, and then Mike will come in, and then Cenk will come in. How did you do that?
Yeah, we did. We had a show.
Okay.
It was a show, and Mike, he's done it many times, so he was kind of the host of the evening, and what Mike does, it's like he's always takes over the show.
He's very American, isn't he, in his mannerisms, right? He's not like a British guy. He's like very American. He's super outgoing, man.
Right. So it was it was like really, it's a really popular show. We did 35 concerts, and every show was pretty much sold out, and it was like these big, huge theaters, like from 500 seater to like a 1500 seater.
That's cool.
So for me, I mean, I'm playing jazz clubs, or so I'm happy if 100 or if 200 people show up, and that's a crowd, for us.
Yeah.
So it felt it was fantastic, every night to play for such a big and appreciative audience.
That's cool. I'm going to just recommend everybody check out the International Guitar Night. Go to that website or whatever. Maybe I'll have Brian Gore on the show, see if he could talk about it or something like that. That might be a good thing.
Cool,
but yeah, if you're interested in guitar, these guys are phenomenal. I mean, just top notch talent. All 4 of these guys.
Right.
Tell me the top. I can't believe I don't usually ask this to a guy who's 29, but you've done so much. I'm going to ask you, what's the top 3 experiences you've had musically?
Let's see. Well, has to be one of those. Has to be I got to play the first time I got to play with my hero Stochelo Rosenberg, the guy from the Rosenberg.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Because he's the reason I'm playing jazz, and I'm playing this music. So we did it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago, there's a big guitar festival in Finland, in Tampere. So the organizer asked me to put together like a night of gypsy jazz. So I was like,
That's so nice.
I got to invite Stochelo and his brother, and then Paulus Schaefer. He's from the same family. Another amazing gypsy jazz guitarist. So, and we've played together for years now. So we played, and then in the end we all came together and played in front of a Finnish audience. So that was pretty cool.
That's great.
And but I've there's been I feel very very blessed. I've had all these great like playing in New York at the Birdland or one of the jazz clubs. That's always it's an intimidating experience. The same, you never know who's going to be in the audience. And
yeah, that's
and the New York crowd, they know their jazz. So
yeah.
Well, then a couple times I've got to travel to Alaska, and just to go in such an exotic place, and see all this nature. So that was really something.
Where'd you get? You've mentioned nature a bunch of times. What is your thing in nature? Like, what do you like? Do you like just hiking? Do you like just being around animals? What is the thing that does it for you?
Yeah, I mean, just like being in nature and getting the fresh air and the sun and the clean air. So now I've been definitely enjoying that. Now in Helsinki, like I live a few blocks away from the sea, so I can beautiful walks you can take there. And,
that's cool.
But then again, it's like 6 years in New York. It kind of changes you into a city person, So I definitely I still feel like I couldn't go back and live in Nurmes, in that like so remote. I mean, even though you have all this beautiful nature and no one's around, so but it's like New York is such an exciting place to be in, especially for jazz music.
Yeah, it's a weird place, New York, in that, like, I know for myself from growing up there's a part of me that says I feel safer when there's people around, and there's another part of me that says, there's people around, I got to be aware. It's a weird thing, like there's safety there, but you got to be like very on top of your game to make sure that it's the right people, or be wary of the wrong people or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the 6 years I lived in New York, I felt really safe there. I've traveled a lot in the States, and and I think New York is one of the safest places
for a big city. Yeah, I think so.
And I mean, anything can happen there, but I've been I went to New Orleans a couple of times, and like Baltimore and stuff like so. There's definitely, I thought, like, if I can walk around in Brooklyn, 4 a.m. with my suit and guitar, I can do it anywhere. But then, I went to some of these other cities, and I was like, oh, this is not cool,
Yeah, New York's just safer than, I would say, Baltimore, New Orleans, definitely Chicago, LA. I would agree with you there, man. And I don't know about now with COVID, it's a little nutty, but pre-COVID, I think it was pretty, it had changed a lot, especially since I was a kid. Finland's like closer to Russia than it is to the rest of Europe, isn't it?
Yeah, we share the eastern border.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And the language even like is closer to Russian than some of the European languages, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, Finnish it's definitely its own thing. It's like it's actually we're related to like Hungarian.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not really I don't know what's the term for, like, I guess the Scandinavian, because like
it's not like
Norway and Denmark is pretty much the same thing, but Finnish is totally different, and and it's not the Russian Slavic family either. So So yeah, we have our own thing. It's like a code language because nobody like in New York or wherever you can just like speak Finnish, whatever, and nobody will understand.
Yeah, nobody's going to be around you. I had a client there many years ago. His name was Timu. He said it's a pretty common name in Finland, right?
Teemu, actually.
Teemu, right? Teemu,
yeah,
Teemu. Yeah, Teemu. Yeah, I remember he told me that. And this is good. Is there anything like once this COVID stuff gets out of the way, what is like next on your sights for you, like musically, things that you want to do or things that you're thinking about doing?
Well, definitely want to get back to touring again. Get back to traveling. I had some some stuff in Europe that got canceled, so I'm hoping to kind of get that thing going, and of course back to States. I've had like very busy touring schedule there, so but it's like it's like you have to work it. You have to keep going back to these places, and otherwise people they forget you. So
yeah,
so but it's it's fantastic that you can just play whatever music or whatever project you have and you tour with that. So
yeah.
So that and and the last few years in New York, I fell in love with Brazilian music and especially choro music. So back, of course, getting back to play that music with my Brazilian friends in New York. But I definitely when they open the traveling again, I definitely want me to go to Brazil and just go there and visit the source. So
yeah, that's cool, man. Did you ever play with John Jorgensen?
I've played with John. Well, yeah, like couple gigs, but no, I never played in John's band. It was kind of like kind of more of a jam kind of type of gig, the different people.
Yeah.
But I know John pretty well, and the violinist Jason Annick I play with. He played with John over 10 years, so
okay.
So he knows John really well.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Yeah, and he's done a lot for gypsy jazz in the States.
Yeah, I would probably imagine that.
Yeah, I mean he before him there wasn't many bands or who toured the country. So
yeah,
so he has spread the word.
Oh, he really has actually. Right, even at NAMM, he has at NAMM his I think it's a quartet or. I don't think it's a trio, but he's always plays a gypsy jazz show at NAMM, which is cool. Yeah. Any low points or dark periods you've had to go through?
Well, I had some when I was like 18, 19, and I had some health issues with my stomach and stuff. But now it's like I've got it under control, just by studying, the diet and the vitamins and everything that. So it's like I was able to, stop taking the drugs or the pills for my stomach. So that's been great, so I don't have to and that was like because I had sometimes these tours, and then when you have to like travel in early mornings, and then it's like sometimes they give you whatever food or something. So it was but other than that, I've been very, very healthy, and I live a healthy lifestyle, and work out and stuff like that. So definitely I need to do that to keep my body in shape, and I think everybody who tours should take care of themselves, because it's the traveling part, it definitely takes a toll.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I mean, whatever you do, man, I'm 56 years old, and I've been working out for a long time, and I know with 100% certainty that there's things that I can do that I look at my peer group and I don't even think about it, only but not be, and I'm like, my genetics are horrible, so I've had to like work against that, but I've done it for 30 years, and it's really paid off now that I'm older, man. I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
And it's funny, man. Like, did you have like food sensitivities?
Yeah, I mean, like in Finland, like the parents what they give and the school the food they give, it's always like there's a lot of like dairy products and a lot of bread and all this stuff. So I mean, I was eating that like from when I was a kid,
Sure.
and I always had like some stomach problems, even as a kid. But then you just, I mean, you don't know any better. And like,
Of
when you're a kid,
course.
you just like, your parents tell you what to eat, and, and they say, this is good for you and this is good for you. So you just eat it. But then, when I got, 17, 18, then it got bad. And I started having like really real issues and problems with it. So, so then I did like, but still, I mean, and, that you go to a doctor here and who's not, doesn't know about the diet, or the doctors, the first thing they like to do, they just give you
pills,
pills.
man.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Same thing here, man.
And right, so that's I did that first. I tried everything they gave me, and and all this kind of this kind of crazy stuff that makes you like blow up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was so then I was like, no more of this. It's actually, this is worse than the problem itself. So then I just studied myself, and and with all these diet restrictions, I kind of pretty much stopped eating dairy, and I don't eat that much like bread and stuff like that.
Right.
So that, and then taking like vitamins, like fish pills and
fish oil and stuff.
That,
yeah.
And zinc and all that, B vitamin, D vitamin. So that definitely changed. And then plus with the when I start to work out, then you start to like, if you want to make progress, you need to like find the stuff that fits you and you can absorb and stuff like that. So so I found the right ingredients and the foods for me. So
that's great, man.
And then you kind of keep your metabolism going with the working out. So
yes.
So so that way, I've been very healthy in the last years.
That's awesome, man. Dude, you are like really have your shit together. I can't believe you're 29 and you're like this together. This is awesome. You don't realize how together you are. It's hard to realize, but you really are like got it going on, man.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I meet people my age, but like, I guess, yeah, I mean, if you don't, I guess, if I would, wouldn't have any issues or health issues or something, I would have just like kept, eating whatever and drinking. Drinking is a big thing in Finland.
In Finland, yeah.
Drink, yeah, they can really drink. So
what's the drink? What's the alcohol in Finland that they drink? Is it vodka?
Well, it's beer and vodka. Yeah.
Oh, beer and vodka.
Like it's like we definitely have the Russian part of drinking culture from the the early on, but now we see ourselves as the Western European, so we have all the wine and the beer. So it's now it's everything together. So, but I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I think, and people tell me that nowadays, that the trend is young people, they drink less and stuff like that. But it's like when I moved to New York, actually, my drinking and everything went down, which sounds kind of crazy because it's like,
man, you can only do so much of that shit and be productive.
Right.
I mean, being productive is overwhelming, and I know, like, so being productive, like, buzzed all the time is impossible. I mean, unless you have a substance abuse problem, and then you gravitate to that. And that's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know how people are like drink a lot or smoke a lot of weed or whatever and be productive. I could never do that, man. Yeah. It's funny you mention that, man, because I've got some food allergies and I'm just looking into that more. Not allergies, food sensitivities. Dairy is definitely one of them, man. That's a no-no. I cannot eat dairy. Peanut butter destroys me, and that has been like my favorite food besides pizza my whole life. Right. So I'm like, I'm literally like next week taking a test to identify, and then, pull them out one at a time, whatever it says. Because I'm starting to feel that a lot. Just the plumbing and exact stomach, all same stuff that you talked about, man. Yeah.
Right.
And I know that if I go to a doctor, they're going to do the same thing. Well, here's a bunch of like Pepsi or whatever. Right. And I'm not interested. I want to just I just as soon not eat it, and then it won't be a problem. There's plenty of good food to eat. Right.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I used to love to eat pasta, and I thought like I couldn't live without pasta. But it's funny. It's like I mean, I can eat pasta here and there, but like it's like
you have gluten.
Really a thing.
You have like a gluten. Yeah. Okay. Right.
So my favorite food is actually like Asian type food these days.
Okay. So none of that's mostly vegetables, a little bit of oil, and some spices, unless you have issues with particular spices.
Rice.
Rice. Yeah. And rice is gluten free. There's no gluten in rice, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, man. All right. So talk about your guitar. What's your main guitar? And I think you mentioned your builder. What's your builder's name again?
It's AJL Guitars.
AJL. Okay.
Yeah, the company.
Out of Finland.
Out of Finland. Yeah, he's mainly known for the gypsy jazz guitars. That kind of we usually call them gypsy jazz guitars, Selmer style guitars. Back in the day, the Selmer company that still builds saxophones.
Saxophones. I used to have a Selmer. Yeah, when I was a kid.
So they used to build guitars back in the.
I have no clue.
40s. And Django Reinhardt played those kind of guitars. So that it's a very specific sound. So that kind of became part of the style of gypsy jazz. Just because, when Django was playing in Europe, nobody was talking about gypsy jazz. It was just Django was just a gypsy, synth gypsy from Belgium who happened to play jazz, and he was such a master of the instrument that and he was like the first European jazz star. So it just that guitar and that sound became part of this is part of the sound of the style. So Arjuk, the AJL, so he builds beautiful replicas of those guitars, and then I right now I have only 2 guitars I was able to bring with me. I had to leave one guitar in New York. But so I have 2 guitars from him, one Selmer style, and I actually have the other arch stuff right here. So
let me take a look at it. That's cool. Oh man, what a beautiful guitar!
This is like a little this is like a 15 and a half inch body, so it's like a kind of travel size arch top. But it's a beautiful guitar, and I actually ordered that guitar for the International Guitar Night tour because we had all that traveling, and I was wanted to play that archtop jazz guitar. So I had the other guitar. It's also from AJL, but that's like a 17-inch, like a Gibson L5. So it's impossible to fly with. It's like a ship. So I got that guitar made for the tour. So. It's been.
Is that his pickup? Guitar, right? That's his pickups in there. Yeah. He builds. It's like it's also like a replica from the De-Armand. Okay. So I didn't know De-Armand made those for jazz. Interesting. I love the De-Armand electric guitar pickups for sure.
And those are like floating single coil.
That's cool.
Pickups, it's a beautiful sound when you plug it into a old Fender deluxe reverb or something.
Is that what you play out of old Fenders mostly?
Yeah, if I can, that's always what I ask for. And but sometimes if I play little gigs around town, it's like too heavy to carry those 2 bands around. So I have a AER or like a Shelfler, a little bit like smaller.
Okay.
Smaller like acoustic amp.
Good. Anybody that influences you guitar wise that people might be surprised to hear?
guitar wise. Well, I mean, I love all kinds of music, not just jazz or guitar music. You know, all different instruments, and you know, like I love James Brown and you know his
Oh,
group. So
yeah,
you
man.
know, I don't know. I get maybe some of that simplistic rhythms, maybe you know, and that very tight, accurate kind of you know very tight band playing. Maybe that's you know influenced me somehow.
Oh, his band was great. All of his bands.
Yeah.
Give me your top 3 Desert Island Discs. Do you know what I mean by that? Because I know in England they look at it as singles. I'm looking for like albums.
Yeah. Well, it has to be the Rosenberg Trio live at the North Sea
North
Jazz
Sea,
Festival. Yeah. Let's see. This is a tough one. I'm spacing out. I should have a little, you know, like what I've been listening lately. Yeah.
It's just for now, not like you know, because this could change. You know, could change tonight.
Right.
I ask a different.
Well, let's switch it up. Let's take the Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsies. You know, that's a great record.
Yeah, sure is.
And some other jazz recording. Maybe whatever Oscar Peterson recording here. I love Oscar Peterson.
Do you ever play electric, like not the archtop electric, like a you know like a conventional a Strat or a Les Paul or something like that?
Well, I used to, you know, that's how I started playing a Stratocaster, and I had a Les Paul. But then, you know, then I just got rid of all those guitars. And
really?
Then it was for years. It was only acoustic, you know, only the gypsy style guitar. And then now like maybe the last kind of when I moved to New York, I was, you know, I wanted to take advantage of the, you know, learning more the you know the American style of jazz, and you know like the Joe Passes and the Wes Montgomerys and everything, you know. So I wanted to really dig deep on playing the archtop guitar. So you know that's radical enough for me.
Yeah. Did you study with anybody when you were in the city?
I didn't take any lessons, you know. Now I kind of, well, I mean, you know, I got to, you know, just to play with a lot of these, you know, older generation masters, you know, Frank Vignola and you know, Gene Bertoncini and Bucky Pizzarelli and James Cyrille, all these old school, Russell Malone, you know.
Oh yeah, he's Ron Carter's guitar player.
Right. So you know, I got to, you know, play and hang with all these people. So you know, it's kind of just yeah. I mean, you when you're just like hanging with those guys and or like sitting next to them, you're gonna learn.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. I absolutely get that.
But you know, it's, you know, there's definitely some great guitars and great teachers in New York that I'd love to pick their brain about the.
Your English is really good, because you could, when someone speaks, often when they're, it's not your native language, but you actually use very like American expressions, which is like next level. You know, it's not like you just learn the language. You could tell you've been, because you lived in the city for 6 years, but you really did a great job immersing that, man.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
No,
yeah,
totally.
Well, I still feel like, you know, I was thinking, I've thought about this a lot. Like if you like wanna lose the accent, you know, like I would really have to like pay attention, just kind of like with music too, like pay attention to every little detail, and you know, and not and stop yourself when you're like kind of not saying it right or something. But you know, I mean, it's I get by with this.
No, it's great. The English is great, and the accent's cool. Keep the accent. Don't lose the accent, man. No, that's
no. I thought about it now. Now I think that too. You know, it's like
yeah, keep the accent. Yeah, for sure, man. Are you good? I know you work a lot. Are you good with balancing your time between work and, you know, friends and family, let's say?
Well, no, I think that's been kind of, I've been just going. The music has been always like, the number one for me. So I've always kind of, um, sometimes it's been, like, somebody somebody gets married or something, and then I have a gig somewhere in like Seattle or something. So I can't make it.
Right.
So, but I mean, people get it, and I think that's part of that sacrifice. If you want to be a performing artist, everybody kind of has to, when you get offered to do a nice gig, it's really hard to turn it down, or and sometimes like all these bigger things, they get booked a year and a half in advance. So it's like
tough question, man. What do you like most about yourself? This is such like an American question. Like if I asked this to a Finnish guy who didn't live in the States, he'd be like, what the hell are you doing asking me that question?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I mean, I think, I'm kind of, relaxed and chill. I don't take myself too seriously. I think, I can take a joke and, have fun, and I like to everybody around me, have fun. So I get something like that.
That's cool, man. Good job answering that. Best childhood memory.
I don't know. It has to be some vacation we did. Those were fun. We went to Berlin. That was a fun trip. When I was maybe 6-7 years old, so that was a fun trip.
That is cool. It's nice that when you're in Europe, man, you got, here in the States, if I go to Virginia or North Carolina or Texas, it's not dramatically different. It's pretty uniform, but you can go to like the same distance in Europe and it's completely different.
Right. Yeah, I've toured a lot in the Netherlands and Belgium, and it's crazy. It's like if you drive 3 hours, you can get anywhere in 3 hours in the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and then sometimes in the States we drive for 10 hours, and we're not there.
Yeah.
So the distances, but it's been doing the touring circuit in the US. It's been good, because it's like I definitely the traveling here feels easy compared to that.
Oh yeah. Plus you get to know the whole country, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't mind actually. I'm not a big fan of flying, but like, the driving, and, and we do a lot of touring in beautiful places like Colorado and like Montana and stuff like that. So beautiful drives. I just, I love that. Like,
that is beautiful.
Epic scenery, and you're just gonna listen to good music and do these beautiful drives.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest is probably the prettiest part of the country. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. We did that one time. That drive, the Highway 1. That's unreal.
I saw the picture. What's that? Yeah. I saw the pictures that you did. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, just that, like, if you take that old highway from like, if you go from San Francisco to LA, for instance, it's just like, you drive by the coast.
Oh, the Pacific Coast Highway.
Yeah, right. So that's a beautiful drive.
That's cool. I saw pictures when you did the international with, it was brutally cold. I think you guys were in Alaska, maybe.
Oh yeah. It was in Fairbanks. Yeah, in January. Yeah.
Mike had a cup of coffee and he threw it out. It was immediately frozen. I couldn't believe it.
Right. Yeah, we get sometimes that kind of cold in Finland too, but it's like that's unusual.
Oh, okay. It's not that cold there then.
Yeah. I mean, it get cold, but that was like next level at Fairbanks in January.
Yeah, it was nuts. Is weed legal in Finland?
Oh no.
Do they have for medicinal purposes? Is it legal for medical?
I guess you can get it for like medical reasons, but it's not legal. Yeah, Finland is kind of we're still kind of very conservative, old kind of
Yeah.
and it's like like I was saying earlier about the drinking and stuff. So it's like the alcohol is the choice of
Yeah.
So substance here. So
I get it.
So
Totally
it's not legal, but it's I think it's like it's definitely I think there's more like especially if you're in Helsinki, there's more like a liberal I don't think you're gonna get like you get a fine or something. But
they're not throwing you in jail if you're walking around the street
no.
smoking a joint.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. So
tell me, you have any hobbies or interests outside of music?
Well, working out, definitely. That's what I like to do. And well, otherwise I've been so especially when I'm working or like playing a lot, then it's that's those two things, and definitely it's like plenty already. But yeah, I mean I enjoy good food, good drinks. I'm definitely like in New York, after living in New York, I've discovered the world of food. That's it's just like in Finland, growing up in Finland, I don't even remember like what was I was pretty old when I actually like started trying something different than they usually here. It's very like meat and potatoes type of.
A lot of fish there.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And everything is very fresh and very good quality.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like the Finnish cuisine, it's it's not as like Italian or but then in New York, and then in New York you get to play with all these people from different countries, and they I played a lot with French people, and they definitely hooked me up with their food and the wine. So now it's like all my knowledge for wine and like whiskey and stuff, it comes from the Frenchies. They definitely know their food.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. What was your favorite restaurant in the city?
There's so many, but let's see. Well, the last 2 years I lived in Astoria, so that's like a Greek neighborhood. So
sure, yeah.
I was eating a lot of Greek food. That's,
right.
Any of those restaurants, it's worth checking. If you're in New York and you haven't tried I thought I tried Greek food before living in Astoria, but then I lived there and it's like next level they take it there. It's I'm sure it's pretty similar if you go to actually Greece.
I think that's the largest population of Greek population in the world outside of Greece is in Astoria, I think.
Well, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, it's like my neighbors. They didn't speak a word of English.
That's the way it is. Favorite place you traveled? You've been all over, man.
Well, I mean, there's so many beautiful places in the United States. It's like I've traveled a ton in the upper upstate New York, and then Massachusetts, Maine, and Vermont, and that's very very nice. And then the Washington State, Seattle, and there's the biggest Django festival in the States is in Whidbey Island, which is close to.
Is that off the coast of Washington somewhere?
Yeah, it's like you take a ferry from Seattle, or like you take a shuttle. You can take a shuttle from the airport, and then you take a ferry to the island. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. But let's see. Well, we went to Georgia, the country, once, and that was interesting.
What is that like?
That's a totally different world. They have their own, their own letters and everything, so you can't understand anything. And it was, we went with a Georgian violinist there, and so he's like famous there. So we played all these like gala concerts but it's very very different. And at the time we were like living in Finland, and it was like a trio, you know, 3 Finnish guys, and we're used to like if it says that the show starts at, you know, 7 p.m. like, you know, it starts at 7 p.m. But there it's just like I think we waited for 3 hours and still wasn't nothing.
Get out of here! Oh
And
my
then it
God!
So you know, so
That must have been so much like anxiety causing, no?
Yeah. Well, we were pretty, and then plus, I mean, it was it's a beautiful country, and that has a lot of you know, mountains and you know, and the Black Sea is there and everything. So, but then that trip, you know, everybody, all of us, we got sick. You know, we got like maybe the water or something. So so that kind of you know, was a little bummer. But other than that, it was, you know, it was definitely probably the most exotic place we've ever been.
What did that used to be? Wasn't it part of like Czechoslovakia or something? What was Georgia?
It was definitely, yeah, it was part of Soviet Union.
Part of the Soviet Union. Yeah. Okay. So I thought, I knew it was something else. Wow. That's interesting. 2 more questions, Olli. Toughest decision you had to make or most difficult thing you had to do?
I don't know. I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, I guess it's, you know, like, you know, moving to New York, but it wasn't really a tough decision because it was like, you know, I was just following the music and the my passion. So it was actually kind of very easy decision to make. And you know, I was like, and you know, I had no ties in Finland, like no girlfriends or nothing. So it was like
easy decision, but a big decision.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big decision, man. To move, like, you know, how old were you when you went there? Like 24?
I was 23. Yeah, 23.
Yeah, that's a big decision, man. Yeah, good for you.
Right. No, I mean, it was definitely. I remember my first night when I you know, I had found an apartment in Craigslist, Bushwick, New York.
Right. Yeah.
I you know, I had some gigs actually in California and Colorado before I came, and then you know, I arrived in JFK and took a cab there, and you know, I had my huge suitcase with all my stuff and my guitar, and yeah, just one guitar, and then you know, I come to Bushwick and I'm like, what is this place? It's like this old warehouse building, and there's like a biker gang hanging outside the door, and then it's like, you know, I had this number, and of course the guy who was supposed to let me in, he's out like partying and stuff. And then, you know,
so you're hanging around the biker gang and just wondering what to do.
Right. Shit. And then eventually I reached the other roommate, and you know, he lets me in, but like, you know, he was a chef or something, and he was like really kind of pissed off about his job, and he was like, didn't say anything. He was just like pissed off that I wake him up, and you know, I had to let him like open the door for me, and you know, and then I go to this room, and this place was you know, mess. You know, it was like the cockroaches and you know, rats kind of thing, and there's no mattress, there's no nothing, and I sleep on the floor the first night. Like,
oh my God, welcome to New York.
You welcome to New York. That's what I thought. But I was still, you know, like when I moved to New York, I wasn't like saying that I'm gonna like conquer the New York, or I was like, you know, I might come back in 2 weeks, you know, got that kind of attitude.
Right.
But,
okay.
You know, it was definitely good that it, you know, I started from there, and not like, you know, later on, you know, I got to live in Manhattan, like in this castle building, you know, and everything. So it was, I'm glad it went, you know, from
it went that way instead of the other way.
Yeah, right. Because right now, like, I don't think I could, you know, go back to that Bushwick apartment. You know?
That's amazing, man. Wow, what a good story. And last question, Olli, most important lesson that life has taught you so far?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you live in New York, I kind of came to conclusion that there's not really a way. I mean, or like a one way to live your life. There's like do your thing and you'll figure it out. It's I mean, there's like all these kind of expectations you have from the society or whatever, but it's like in the end, it's like I guess everybody finds their way.
Dude, I like that. Do your thing and you'll figure it out. All right, man. Well, hey, listen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, man. And thanks for teaching me a lot about Finland. I was always curious about that country, and you gave me a lot of info. We learned a lot. I just need to play, do your thing, and you'll figure it out. And a couple of more nuggets in here you had. I can't think of them right now, but thank you, man. Let me tell people where to check you out. First of all, if you are into gypsy jazz guitar or you're just into incredible guitar playing, I would really encourage you to listen to Olli's music. I'll spell his name again. It's Olli, Olli, Soikkeli. It's Soikkeli. I have literally never experienced anybody who plays so fast on the neck and is so clean and so precise. I mean, and I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up his ass. This is years. And you could just watch this guy perform one time and you could see the work ethic he has put into this. It's phenomenal. So go to his website. It's ollisoikkeli.com. I'll spell it one more time. OLLISOIKKELI.com. He's got all of his records are on there. Also, he's got a lot of online teaching things that are on there that you can connect with him and check out and purchase. He's on Instagram and Facebook, and you have a YouTube channel too, right?
Yeah,
man. So subscribe to his YouTube channel and follow him or like him on Facebook and follow him on Instagram. It only took me 800 shows to get the follow, like, and subscribe things organized and right. So, but yeah, he's a phenomenal guitarist and a super cool guy, and he's really, really very passionate, very good about what he does. Anything upcoming about that you want to talk about whenever this COVID goes away? Anything in the future, like new records or anything like that you got planned?
Yeah, definitely. Well, now we have some shows still for this year in Finland, and we're gonna have something going on next spring. I think in Finland and Europe, but I'm planning to since I'm gonna be here in Finland, and my trio is here, so I think we might record something with that, and maybe have some guests. There's some fantastic horn players here, so maybe have that kind of
that's awesome
invites kind of thing. But and then also I fell in, like I told you earlier, like I fell in love with the choro Brazilian music. So
sure.
and I actually released a duo record with the Brazilian guitarist Cesar Garabini, who's based in New York. He's kind of the guy for 7-string Brazilian guitar in New York. So
what's that record called?
Invitation. But we did that a couple of years ago, and we were kind of just starting off. We had some touring coming up, so we just wanted to have a product for it. So
good, man. Look at you. See, you're smart. You got it together, man.
Right. But no, I mean now definitely I've delved a lot deeper in this music, and I'm working on it a lot. So I think that more of that is coming, and then this international guitar night tour. That was the first time I played some solo guitar. So and I kind of fell in love with that thing, and now I have some one set's worth of solo guitar material. So I think I'm gonna, and the other day we were trying out these microphones with my friend, and we recorded some of the solo guitar arrangements I did, and the sound was so great with the nice microphones and all that. I was like, this could be a record. I just gotta record these. So I think that might be something in the future. Maybe even the next one might be.
That's great, man.
Full CD of solo guitar.
You got like 3 or 4 things going on right away. That's really cool, man. Very good to hear that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that I need to like if I have the jazz thing going on, but it's like, if I only do that, I kind of get at some point my jazz, I get the jazz limit,
Yeah.
But then this Brazilian music is totally different thing, and so it's then I can switch to that and really focus on that. So I just need a bunch of stuff to keep me inspired and working on my thing.
That's music. Awesome, man. Well, I wish you best of luck with everything. I know you'll be back on this show at some point in time because you are young and you got a hell of a long career ahead of you, and I'll look forward to that, man. And I hope to see you sometime in the city. If I'm up there and you're playing, I'll definitely come by.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, yeah.
All right, everybody, check out Olli Soikkeli, OLLISOIKKELI. This guy's a tremendous guitar player, and he's going to be around a long time. Anything else that I missed or didn't get to or that you want to promote?
No, I mean, just check out my website, and and definitely if you want to check out or get into gypsy jazz, or you already play gypsy jazz and want to work on some vocabulary and more, really get into the sound and the phrasing of the the style. So check out my online lessons, because those came out really nice, and I've got a lot of good feedback from all over the world from people. So
right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, check that out. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Olli, thank you so much for everything. Everybody, thanks so much for listening. If you like this, please share it on your social media channels with your friends. We appreciate your support. Thanks to Olli Soikkeli. Please check out Olli online at his website, ollisoikkeli.com. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Sorry, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. And most important, especially nowadays, man, remember that happiness really is a choice. So choose wisely. Be nice, go play your guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I am out. Olli, thank you so much for everything, brother.
Thank you.